What is up, everybody? This is DJ K back once again with more tournament coverage, and I've actually got 2 more Twilight Cups to cover, and I know it's getting to be late into the month of September already. I mean, we're already past the Mirror Cup, but I've got my whole command center set up, as you can see, with all my graphics for the next 2 Mirror Twilight Cups which I have, so I'll be able to put these things out fairly quickly. Now, even though I am trying to keep these videos just a little bit shorter for you guys, I want to take a little break here to talk about Pogo Coliseum, which is a Discord server which this particular Twilight Cup tournament took place in. And I wanted to talk about this server because it's a little bit different from other Discord servers that you may have heard of. A lot of the Discord servers that are out there, like Go Stadium and the eventual Sylph Arena, Discord and Battle Park, and many others, they mainly focus around discussing strategy and finding friends to battle with, to do practice matches and other online tournaments. But this server is almost entirely focused on online tournaments. When you join the server, the people who run it will set you up with a certain lobby of anywhere between 16 to say 40 players. And what happens is it's your responsibility then to keep up with gifts and make sure that you can reach ultra friend levels with everybody on the server. But once you reach that point with everybody, once you put in the work, it is a little bit of work to get there, but once you put in that work, it is a great place to just continuously have tournaments. It's just whether it's going to be a ranked tournament or an unranked tournament, or whether they make completely original tournaments, which is something that I'm going to cover in the near future. I think it's just a great place for new players to get hooked up with a group and just do tons and tons and tons of tournaments really efficiently. And whether they're looking to increase their ranking or just get some practice in for when they do their local tournaments, you know, either way, it's going to be a great place for people to just get into somewhere and battle. And while they do have discussion forums where they can talk about relevant metas and other things like the Sylph Road Cups, it's really primarily 100% focused on getting people together within the groups, building up ultra friend levels between these people so you can continuously do tournaments as the months go by. They even actually have spreadsheets where you can keep track of everybody's friend level, and it really helps to keep kind of a fire under everybody to keep those ultra friend levels up. But like I said, once you get to those ultra friend levels, you're pretty much set. You can battle anybody at any time, whether you're looking for practice matches, and it's really kind of a nice server, at least for me, because it's not like a lot of servers where it can be so huge that you kind of get lost in all the people that are there, and sometimes, you know, you can feel like you're just talking to a humongous crowd of people. You end up developing kind of a camaraderie with some of these people, and you sort of view yourself as a team where all of you are looking to improve yourselves and become the best players in your area and in your various circles. So with that being said, I just wanted to say that this whole tournament takes place. This was the very first one that we did in our group on the Pogo Coliseum. I am part of the Totodial group, if anybody's wondering about that in particular. I'll let you guys check that out. The link's in the description. And let's get right into our first match. But before that, I'd like to talk about my team real quick. I don't have too much to say about it other than the fact that I was able to generate a lot of Stardust for this team. I mean, this was during the whole Stardust bonus week. I was able to grind out over 1 million Stardust in that time, so that really helped me. But what I didn't predict is the run out of charged TMs that would happen, and I had a good stockpile for a long time, but I just couldn't get the proper charged TMs on a lot of these Pokemon, and I kind of had to make some sacrifices. I kind of had to decide what I was going to bring in, and I've got probably the biggest mistake I made was having both the Quillfish and the Tentacruel on the same team. I thought having the Tentacruel would be the harder counter to Azumarill, but most of the Pokemon on my team do not have the optimum movesets. Toxicroak and Azumarill have the regular movesets that you would expect on them, but Tentacruel has Hydro Pump and Sludge Wave, Quillfish has Ice Beam and Acid Spray, which actually isn't too bad of a moveset. I wish I could have had Aqua Tail on him. For Venomoth, I actually don't have Poison Fang at all, so he only has Silver Wind. And for Tyranitar, he actually has Stone Edge and Fire Blast. So we're dealing with some really different charge moves than I really would have liked for this team. I mean, I was well prepared in terms of Stardust, not prepared at all in terms of charge TMs. So I just kind of rolled with what I had, and we'll see how my lineup faces up against all the other opponents, including our first one. So for my first match, I'm up against Dowday Sam, and as you can see from his lineup on the right over there, he's got a lot of Pokemon that are going to be weak to Confusion, and I saw this lineup being used by a couple of other teams, this lineup of Quillfish, Tyranitar, and Venomoth, and I really kind of wanted to roll with that and see how that would work, especially against this team, especially considering that I think that Tyranitar and Quillfish especially are going to have some really good matchups here. He's going to do neutral damage to a lot of those Pokemon with that Water Gun, Quillfish especially. And this ended up turning into a team that I ended up using a lot and having a lot of success with. So let's see how this team does in our first match. So I send in Tyranitar as my lead in this one, and this is not a positive matchup for me, I know it. I have to switch out of there. So I switch into the Quillfish, thinking as long as I avoid some of the Mud Bombs, I'll be okay. I decided to block that there, considering that it was a Mud Bomb, but he's going to go in and throw a charge move and switch into his Venomoth here. At least I'm going to get the Acid Spray, and I planned that. Like, I wanted to throw Acid Spray for no matter what came in. So we got the debuff. But now we can come in with our own Venomoth and finish him off real easily in the mirror match, and that's one of the reasons I like Venomoth so much. He just powers through certain Pokemon. He's waiting out his switch timer. He decides to send in Toxicroak thinking he could get another charge move or something, and all he's got left is that Tentacruel. And this is one of the reasons. So two of his three Pokemon ended up being weak to those confusions, and you know, this is actually pretty quick. Like I debated whether or not I wanted to bring Venomoth in. He does go down there, but then we send in the Tyranitar, and we do have a shield left. The Acid Spray is going to hit us a little bit, but we're just going to send him down like nothing after that, and that's GG's for game one. And I just wanted to finish one of my thoughts here because I wanted to send in Venomoth because I noticed that out of all the Confusion users in this particular meta, Silver Wind is going to be the fastest charge move offered by any of the other Confusion users, even if that Venomoth does not have Poison Fang. Poison Fang will still be the fastest, but even if you don't have it, Silver Wind is still a faster option, and it can offer that buff. So we'll see if that comes into play in any of our later matches, but let's just get into the second one here. So for this match, I decided to roll with the exact same lineup, just with a Quillfish lead. Let's rock and roll. Alright, we get the Azumarill, and this is actually really good for us because Quillfish is going to be able to resist all of Azumarill's attacks. We're going to get that Acid Spray, so this is good whether he decides to shield it or not, and it actually doesn't do too much damage. I mean, Azumarill is pretty tanky, and the Ice Beam is going to do quite a bit to us, but at least we got that defense debuff. I'm going to decide to just stay in and tank. No, I'm not going to tank this attack. I wanted to stay in just long enough to at least get another Acid Spray, but he switches out. That was a pretty good switch, but unfortunately now he's going to have two of the Acid Spray debuffs on him, and look at how much damage we were able to do with that Water Gun. I mean, even though he's weak to the Confusion, still able to get him to the point where Tyranitar can take him out in only two fast moves, and he's going to send the Azumarill back in, but with that defense debuff, that Smackdown is just going to be way too strong, and once again, the only thing he has left is that Tentacruel. We're going to be able to send in the Stone Edge and get his first shield, but he does have one more shield, so it could be a little problematic, but I think we're going to get the second one here. And we're going to chunk his health way down before anything else has to come in. And now we've got our Venomoth and one shield, and we're going to decide to tank this. thinking we can survive it, and we do, and that's game one. And that lineup is just incredibly strong. I'm just continuously impressed with those three Pokemon. There were times in the tournament where I actually didn't use those Pokemon, and you know, I will regret those times. We'll see how that happens when that happens. But GG's to Dowday Sam. So my next opponent here is Hollow Sunset, and I actually had quite a bit of trouble picking a team to go up against Hollow Sunset. Like, I just didn't want to bring in the Venomoth because I thought maybe the Frostlass would come out. I thought maybe the Drapion or the Alolan Muck would come out. So I didn't want to bring in the Tentacruel, but I did want to bring in a team that was similar to the team that I used against my last opponent, so I just decided to take Venomoth out and add Azumarill to my team. Can this provide what I need to win this match? Alright, so my Quillfish comes in, and he sends in Drapion, and I thought this was going to be a better matchup than it was, but those bites are just doing a lot of damage. Like, people weren't talking very much about Bite Drapion. Like, I heard a few people mention them, but I simply did not expect it to do that much damage, and it just racked up so much on me before I could even realize what's going on. We do get the Acid Spray, and we get a debuff, thankfully, but I had to spend a shield, and now I'm down one of my Pokemon, so I send in the Azumarill thinking that I'll be able to resist most of what Drapion has to offer with this, but he sends in the Crunch, and he's going to be able to get me down to about half health. Thankfully, I was able to generate some energy for that, and I didn't want to spend any of my charge moves because I wanted to have extra energy for whatever was coming in. So we do manage to hit him with 2 Play Roughs before he can get to his first charge move, and he does have to burn up his last shield, but now he's going to have some energy built up, and I'm just not going to have enough HP to outlast this other Azumarill, although we will get to one more Play Rough right before we go, and I don't know if I spend a shield here. I do spend a shield, although I really don't know why. That was a bad move on my part, so like, if you learn anything from this, like, just learn from my mistake. That just wasn't a good shield, and I should have really went for the Play Rough there. I really should have waited, but I thought I was going to die, so I wanted to use one of my charge moves, and thankfully I'll be able to send in Tyranitar and take out the Azumarill, and thankfully the Frostlass here is going to be weak to those rock attacks, and I'm going to get to a Stone Edge before I can die, and I do take the first game, so I'm feeling pretty good. I haven't lost a game yet. Will that trend continue? Let's find out in this next match. So for the next match, I'm simply deciding to go with the same team. I send in Azumarill here, and the Drapion comes out right away, and I figured this would maybe be a better matchup. But again, those bites just do a lot of damage. Like, even though Fairy isn't supposed to take super effective damage against Dark, he can just do a lot of damage with those bites. I decide to send in a Play Rough, and he does take it, and so we are at an HP advantage, and we're getting off another charge move. Is he going to shield this? He does commit a shield to that Drapion, which is already dead, which was probably not a good move on his part, and we do have a little bit of energy saved up, but wow, this other Azumarill got to this charge move pretty quick, a little bit faster than I expected, and I bail out into my Quillfish because I wanted to bank a little bit of energy. I wanted to save a situation where my Azumarill could just come in and use a charge move in a later situation. So I bail into the Quillfish. As you can see what's happening here, we've got both shields out of the game for both players right now, and all it's going to take is him getting to the Mud Bomb. Unfortunately, with that speed, that's going to be a tough thing for Quillfish to beat, especially since my Quillfish doesn't have the Aqua Tail. But now I can come in with the Azumarill, use that charge move right away, and now I've got he's going to get to another one, unfortunately, before I do. I should have gone for the Play Rough there. I don't know why I went for the Ice Beam, but in hindsight, it probably wouldn't have made too much of a difference because my last Pokemon is going to be Tyranitar, and all he's going to have to do here is send in a Play Rough, and boom, it's one-hit KO. That's it. So that's my first loss of this tournament, so it's 1-1. I do get a fast TM, which is a nice little bonus, but can we take this third game? What am I going to decide to do here? So the only change that I make for this match is that I swap out the Quillfish and I bring in the Tentacruel, because I know how much Hollow Sunset likes to bring in that Azumarill, and I figure maybe the Tentacruel is going to offer a harder counter to that Azumarill with the Poison Sting and be able to do a lot more damage. Will this work for me? Alright, so Tentacruel comes out and the Drapion once again comes out, and Drapion is going to resist the Poison Sting, and once again, I'm just shocked by how much work that Bite is putting in against that Tentacruel. I'm just amazed, and I don't know why I don't block there. I figure maybe I can get away with... I didn't get up to a charge move, so I didn't really want to commit a shield at that point, but I let the Tyranitar go down, unfortunately, and I send in an Ice Beam as soon as I can get one. He figures Drapion has done his work, but I still have both shields, and we're still even on Pokemon. I try to get the Undertap on this Play Rough, but that doesn't work. I'm going to have to use my first shield here, and let's see, if he uses a shield, he's just going to let that one go through. I back out with a little bit of energy, and this is where I wanted to bring in the Tentacruel so I could do something hopefully to this Azumarill, but he's going to swap out right away into that Toxicroak, and if I get hit with a Mud Bomb, that's going to be all it's going to take. So I'm just going to have to send out a charge move here, whatever I can, get that last shield, and, you know, he's going to get to another Mud Bomb here real quick before I can get to anything, and that's going to be the end of Tentacruel. And now all I have left is the Azumarill. I'm going to be able to get his Toxicroak out of the game here with a Play Rough, but unfortunately his Play Rough has some stored energy. There's no shields in play, and I'm not going to be able to get enough energy here to finish him off. I think maybe I'll be able to get this. It's going to be really close. It's going to be close. But no, he survives with a small sliver of health, and it comes down to the wire. So I lose that best 2 out of 3 just by a sliver of health, and that was a very, very well played game by Hollow Sunset. And I just wanted to take the time real quick to say that Hollow Sunset, his trainer ranking on Sylph does not appear to be very high. I think he's still like in the grays, and I think he's still like at the very beginning of his ranking, you know, like he almost appears to be a brand new trainer, but he certainly does not like fight like one. So GG's to Hollow Sunset, very well played. Okay guys, the first 2 battles are over. We're 1-1 in this tournament. I have no idea how the rest of the competitors are going to be playing. We'll find out in part 2 of this video, which will be coming up real quick right after this one. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.